This is part of the main activity for lesson 1. All right, class. So now that you've got your KWLs out in front of you, earlier in class we went over the K, what do you know? We went over the W, what do you want to know? So throughout this PowerPoint now that we're going to go over for stressors, I want you to fill out on the far right side what you learned. This is where you're going to have a section for taking notes. All right, so feel free, anything you see on the PowerPoint, feel free to jot it down because we're going to go over it later, or it possibly might be on a quiz. Okay. All right. So this is just a quick definition of what stress is. First off, would anyone like to take a guess at what they think in their own words what stress is? Anybody? Sarah?
How your body reacts to certain situations.
Yeah, it's how your, right, like it says right here, your body's way of responding to any kind of demand or threat, right? And then like we've kind of talked about a little bit. Here's a few signs of what stress is. Okay, your heart starts racing a little bit, you start sweating, okay, feeling like you're losing your breath, faintness, okay, or just overall panic, sense of like you're losing control. Some of the emotional signs we kind of went over too when we talked about when you guys kind of ranked how you feel those in your life, okay? Feelings of anxiety, overwhelm, can't focus, acting out. That's a big one with teenagers, okay? When they feel stressed, they don't really know how to deal with it, so they act out. And then right here, this is some of the chemical factors. So this is where it's getting in kind of the science part of stress. These are the 3 main chemical factors that involve stress in your body. First one, the big one, everyone kind of raise your hand if you know what adrenaline is or if you've ever heard of it. Okay, it's the kind of the rush of energy you feel when you are stressed out. Second one is cortisol. It's actually also known as a stress hormone. Okay, and then the last one is norepinephrine. It kind of helps with the adrenaline, with the rush of energy. So like we said with adrenaline, it's the immediate response to the threat. So as soon as you start feeling stressed out, okay, that's what comes in is the adrenaline. That's the rush you feel throughout your body, kind of the fleshy feeling maybe is what you feel. It's released by the adrenal glands, which is located right here in your throat. Okay, this allows for increased blood flow to the muscles. So you kind of get that rushed up feeling. Causes the heart to beat faster, the breathing, the heavy sweating, anything like that. Cortisol, it's a stress hormone. It's also produced in your adrenal glands right there. This is what gives a quick burst of energy for survival situations. Yeah, nice job, Sarah. Make sure we're filling it out on the right side of the sheet for what we want to learn. Okay. Norepinephrine is the last chemical factor that we're going to talk about. It's kind of the backup for adrenaline, right? But it also mimics the actions of it. So it helps release blood to the muscles that are used during the fight or flight, which is something that we're going to get to in a couple slides. Okay, it's also released to the adrenal glands. So the adrenal glands release pretty much everything in the stress situation. Here are the different types of stress. First is survival. We're going to go over that. Internal, kind of what you feel inside. External, that's your surroundings for what stresses you out. Fatigue or overuse. And then also real quick, raise your hand if you think that there is a good type of stress. Raise your hand if you think there's only a bad type of stress. So there's actually good stress that we need in our lives. Okay, and that's what it's called, eustress, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. So here's survival. So it's response to physical danger, physical harm. It's also known as fight or flight. It's a burst of energy. Adrenaline's involved in that. So kind of a bad example would be, or it's a good but a bad example, if you're in the forest and you see a bear, okay, the fight or flight is going to kick in. The fight would be, hopefully you're not going to go up against a bear. The flight would be you running away. Or another example would be a lion and a wildebeest. When the lion attacks the wildebeest, they have fight or flight. Okay, that adrenaline kicks in. It's their survival. Internal. These are the attitudes, thoughts, feelings. Anticipation, where you're thinking about stuff. Imagination deals with your sleep amount, your emotional well-being overall. External. This is anything around that stresses you out. So your physical environment, home, school, work, anything like that. Noise. So noise is actually a big one that a lot of people overlook when it comes to stress. Could be low noise, could be loud noise. Okay, low noise can stress people out by just lack of noise, or like a construction site, loud noise can stress people out. Pollution, trauma, injury, anything along those lines is an external type of stress. Fatigue or overuse, so any type of the stress that we've just been talking about, if it occurs over a long period of time, like it says right here, it's built over time, that can be fatigue or overuse. So like it says right here, it can be combined of internal, external, or any of the other types of stress. It just wears down the mind and the body over time. And then here's where I was talking about good type of stress. It's called eustress. It's a positive response to a stressful situation or trigger. It's brought on by a challenge. It can be motivating. So there are good types of stress that we actually need in our life. These are just some of the health conditions that come along with like a fatigue type of stress where it's over and over again. So you might not have the ability to sleep. You might sleep too much. You might eat too much, or you might eat too little. There's both sides of the spectrum on that one. Irrational behavior, you're just not thinking clearly. Bouts with depression, mood disorders, things like that. So start thinking about now what stresses you out. And we're going to go into a think, pair, share. You can cut it.